Awesome. Well, I'm going to share my screen and open the chat. Perfect. Got it open. Okay, so we'll just get started. Can you see my screen okay? Perfect. Okay, well, just to start out, I'm Paige Dwelle. I'm a digital creative director, and we're going to talk through today just a little bit about what digital marketing is, how it works, and then really going into the career options that you have in digital marketing, because there are so many, and then some ways that you can actually jump into a career in digital marketing. So let me see, it's not letting me change my screen for some reason. Oh, there it goes. So the T. So I'm turning 30 this weekend. So of course I got to try my last desperate attempt to staying relevant by calling something the T for what we're talking about. So what we're going to talk about today is a little bit more, like I said, of who I am, what digital marketing is, careers, and then how to get a job into it. So like I said, hop in with any questions you have as I go. So a little background on who I am. I am Paige, as you see here. I have more than a decade, which sounds crazy. Like I said, I'm turning 30. It feels weird to say a decade in the marketing and creative industry, developing content that connects customers to brands in unique and engaging ways. Currently, I am the digital creative director over content and copy for Pourri. If you've never heard of Pourri before, we were just talking about it earlier. It is a before you go toilet spray. So it's made with essential oils and you spray it into your toilet before you poop, which is kind of weird to talk about. We're still breaking those taboos, but it's a before you go toilet spray. And since I'm over content and copy, it's super fun. I get to make lots of poop jokes, poop puns, like really ridiculous humor that we get to have there. Our commercials, exactly. It's great. Who doesn't love some poop humor? It's my favorite, which is like dream job over here. I helped a little more background on what I've been doing. I have been running our social media for the last, 5.5, 6 years. I helped launch the Pourri TikTok in 2019 when TikTok was still like pretty new because a lot of people didn't jump on until 2020 after the pandemic. So we jumped on. Our first video was literally me laying on the floor of our company bathroom, trying to pretend like I was getting a POV from under a toilet seat. It was so, yeah, exactly. It was Musical.ly first. My little sister was big on Musical.ly. But I was like laying on the ground, pretending to be in a toilet for our first video. So it was absolutely outrageous. But we have a spokesperson. She has red hair. She's in a blue dress. You might recognize her on the next slide, but she is who I work with the most. Hi, welcome. On our TikTok. Maybe people are about to start coming in. Hi, welcome. We're just getting started. But she is our creator on our TikTok and on our social media. We also have another creator, but I got to work really closely with her that first year of launching our TikTok, and we were actually nominated for a Streamy Award, which is the YouTube Awards, as brand as creator against like really big accounts like Barbie, SpongeBob, Netflix, Washington Post. So really exciting that jumping on it early, which is so important, especially in digital marketing, really paid off in the end. I've also done some directing and writing on advertising campaigns, which have won multiple awards, been recognized by BuzzFeed, Adweek, Ad Age. So lots of fun content there. Okay. So this is our spokesperson. I don't know if you've ever seen her. It's okay if you haven't, because she was like popular like 8 years ago, but she's still really cool, very proper. She puts on a British accent and she talks about pooping. It's very fun. But I currently am over our social media channels. So from idea to execution to strategy, I'm over all of our social and helping out with writing, directing, video content, as well as writing copy for our website, running our emails, everything like that. So copy and content across the board. So let's jump into what digital marketing is. So I just want to give you a brief overview, just in case it's like vague for you and you're not totally sure what exactly it means. So just diving in a little bit more on what it is. And I'll go pretty quickly through this. So digital marketing is the new traditional marketing. So a lot of the times when you think about advertising, you think like Mad Men style, if any of you guys have seen or heard of that show before, print magazines, newspapers, so print focused marketing and advertising. But now that we all have our cell phones and our laptops, digital marketing is so much more personalized to each person. And we're all inundated with advertising and marketing in digital spaces every day without even realizing now. So again, quickly going over what it is, basically what digital marketing is online marketing. So how brands are connecting to potential customers and current customers using the internet, using different types of digital platforms. So a few of those platforms would be, for example, you've probably seen some of these or even signed up for some of these, but like text marketing is a big one right now in digital marketing. So it's such a cool way for brands to actually text customers and have conversations with them. So it's kind of a new way that, you know, companies are talking to people and potential customers. Word of mouth, if you have Hulu or any streaming services, like any of the ads you get while you're watching your favorite shows, whenever you're Googling something and like websites are popping up right there, like that would be a form of digital marketing. Influencer marketing, the ads you get while you're scrolling on Snapchat, email marketing that you get from companies, and of course, social media, which I'm sure we are all on nowadays. It's pretty hard to find someone who's not on organic social media. So we'll just quickly go through the digital funnel, which is how a customer really moves through like a digital marketing funnel. That's what we call it, of like a customer journey. And then it'll help give you some understanding when we're talking about careers, where those different careers might fit into that funnel. So if you think about a funnel, which is like, you know, that pyramid shape, the top of it is the biggest section of it. So this is like what we like to call the top of the funnel, which is all about awareness and exposure to the brand. So some ways that you might learn about a brand is through organic social. This is like, you're not even looking for them, they're looking for you. So as digital marketers, we're finding new ways that we can reach out to customers in really unique and personal ways. So they don't even have to be looking for us, like we're looking for them. So that's that top of the funnel, which, like I said, organic social, paid ads, word of mouth, public relations. So that's what we like to look at, is that top of funnel, where like everybody lives. I like to think about the funnel as like you're out to sea fishing and it's like your big net that you're throwing out into the ocean to catch fish. Your top of the funnel is throwing it out there and trying to catch as many fish as you can. And then you move into your middle funnel, which is where you're pulling your net back in from the water. So this is the consideration phase, which is the education on the brand. This continues on organic social, on email, on blogs. So this is whenever somebody has seen your brand and then is just a little bit more curious about learning. They haven't necessarily purchased yet or made any actions yet. They might have signed up for your emails, but they haven't necessarily bought your product yet. So this is the middle, where like content is king right here of trying to convince people to buy your product. And then the bottom of the funnel, which is whenever you've actually pulled your net into your ship, this is where you actually get to count how many you've actually caught. So this is the bottom, this is conversion. This is whenever someone becomes a customer of your brand. So ways that people might actually purchase from you is like through social shopping. So if you've seen on Instagram, you can actually shop through social media now. Your website, promotions. So if we give people like a 20% off discount, these are the ways that we actually get people to become a customer, and then we try to keep them as a customer through the digital marketing. So a great version of this, like in real world, if you're on TikTok, you've probably seen Duolingo, because most people have. So how people move through this funnel, the potential customers are, you know, if you're scrolling on a video and you see a video on TikTok and you open it up and you see a brand at the top, like Duolingo, who's commented on it, you say, oh my gosh, Duolingo, like, I don't know if I've ever heard of them potentially. So you click on their page, you go to their TikTok, and then you start following them and you're like, oh my gosh, they are so funny. So you're kind of in that consideration phase where you're not fully sure who the brand is, but you're still learning about it. So you're kind of in that middle funnel. And then once you really have like bonded with that brand, you understand who they are, then you move into the conversion or bottom of the funnel, where you actually download their app and actually start using it. And you have like your 28-day streak of learning Spanish or whatever it is. So that's kind of practically how you can envision moving through that funnel. And then another Pourri example would be maybe you're on YouTube watching a video, and then you get an ad, one of our ads on YouTube, and you click through to our website and you sign up for our emails and you're learning about the brand, and then how digital marketing can then convince you or persuade you to purchase outside of digital marketing. Like maybe you're not buying online, but you've been learning about the brand, you've been seeing the ads, then you're in Target and you see an end cap with Pourri and you think, oh my gosh, you know what? I follow them on Instagram. They are so funny. I'm going to go ahead and buy their candles or buy their home spray or buy their deodorant, whatever that looks like. But then you convert and you become a customer. So that's another way that you can go from a digital marketing piece to actually buying in person. So super cool to see the funnel actually come to life through there. So then moving into careers and the different types of roles that you can go into that actually feed into that through the funnel, teamwork makes the dream work, the digital dream work. There are a lot of different players within a digital team. So I'm going to go through just like a couple buckets of careers that you can go into in digital marketing. Of course, drop any questions. This isn't going to be every job that you could get into digital marketing, but will at least give you an understanding of some of the things that you could jump into if you're curious of digital marketing. So you have your traditional digital marketing team. So again, a lot of these roles could flex. They might be on a different team, but this is just to give you an idea of what is out there if you're thinking about a career in digital marketing. So this is more of your like behind the scenes, like they're not necessarily like the face of the creative or the one creating it, but they're the ones like making it happen and building the systems. Is the screen not sharing?
I think it is.
Okay, can you still see it, Jamal? Maybe you might have closed the tab. Can you still see it? I'll just keep going, but we'll figure it out. If you can't see it, let me know. I'm just okay, good. I'm gonna keep talking. But this is your behind the scenes people who make it happen. So, you know, usually at the top of it, you have your digital marketing director. This could go by a bunch of different names. This could be like a chief marketing officer, head of digital. These people have a lot of different names, but they really lead the strategy of the team. They're the captain of the ship that are pointing them in the direction of which way we need to go from a brand perspective. And then under that, some of the roles that could be reporting to that person or working together on that team is an email and SMS marketing manager, which I'm very passionate about because I love email and text, like I said. So these people are going to be really focused on not only what content you're going to be getting in email and marketing and SMS, but also how to make it more efficient. So things that they might be focused on are like testing subject lines. So do people click on our email more whenever we're asking a question or we're giving them like a fun fact or like we're giving them an offer. So really testing subject lines, click through, making sure people are clicking through to our website to shop. So their focus is all about email. So they're really focused on conversion, but also educating the customer on what the product is now that they've signed up. A data analyst, this could also go by a bunch of different names, but this is a person that's very deep into numbers. They love numbers. They love looking at data. They love mining for information. So these people are all about information and spreading it out to different people. So they might be on a product team where they're looking at like a competitor analysis of like, what are other brands doing out on digital? What are products that we should be putting out there? So they're really in the weeds of data. Super, super cool. Not my brain. I do love data, but like it's very, you have to love information. It's super important to the digital team though. SEO, so that means search engine optimization. So they are focused on, so whenever you've ever Googled something and you see the websites that pop up whenever you Google, the reason that those are popping up is because the websites have strong SEO. So this person is really strategic about finding those keywords that people are searching. So for an example, for poopery, it might be maybe people are searching, why does my poop smell bad? And the SEO person should know, first of all, what people are asking, but then help guide the content team to then create content around that question and using those words. So they have a strong understanding of like keywords and what people are searching for and how to optimize it on our site so that we show up in Google more. Developers are the people, they're not necessarily designers of websites, but they are the people who are actually building the foundation of a website so that it's you can actually shop on a website or learn on a website. So I saw an analogy recently that was like, whenever you're building a house, your interior designer is the person that's actually decorating the house. So that's like your graphic designer. And then you have the person that's actually building the foundation of your house. And that would be the developer in the situation. So they work hand in hand to make something beautiful. But the developer is really in charge of making sure that structurally it works. And there's so many opportunities. Developers, like I feel like that industry has blown up over the last few years with people learning how to code. Super, super important, and so many opportunities in the developer world. With e-commerce managers, this could also go by the name like a shopper marketing person. It can have a couple different names, but this person is making sure that we're strategically setting up our website to be as shoppable as possible. So they might work with a data analyst or a product analyst to understand like, what are your customers interested in? So like, for an example, if we know that people are very interested in scent focus or how a product works, then our e-commerce manager or our shopper merchandising person might then help make sure that we have a scent filter on our website so that people can easily shop. So this person is really helpful in making sure that the website is super shoppable. And then paid media kind of can go under social, it can go under digital marketing. It kind of, flexes between, these are the people that aren't necessarily creating content, but they're the people who are controlling budgets and audiences of pushing out paid media. So what that is like, any ads that you're receiving, whether, like I said, it's on streaming while you're watching Hulu or Spotify, if you get an ad, or Facebook, if you get an ad, they're not necessarily the people creating the content, but they might be helping guide the strategy behind it of, hey, we're noticing if you put a question in the beginning, it's got a strong hook, it performs better. So they're really helping guide the creative as well as putting the budgets behind it and finding those placements of where it strategically makes the most sense to put it out into the world. So they are one of the biggest money makers in a company because they really are finding those opportunities of where we can find the customers. Social, I'm very passionate about because I work with social directly. So I love social media as a piece of digital marketing, and I find it so exciting. Back in the day when it was just Instagram with static images, social media kind of just used to be like one social media manager, and that was it for the entire thing. But now, as social is becoming such a bigger way to not only make money, but get brand awareness from that top of funnel, it's becoming such a big part of digital marketing that now we have full teams built out for just social media marketing in general. So what a team might look like there is you would have your social media director, sometimes a social media manager, that is leading that team in the right direction. So they are the ones that really understand the trends, where people are looking, what new social platforms are out there. So they're really helping guide not only the structure, but the goals of the team as well. A coordinator or manager might be underneath that person. It's a great stepping stone for getting into a social media job, is becoming a social media coordinator. This person is more like mining for trending hashtags or pulling reports. They're really there to support that director. And now content creators, I feel really excited about this. Content creators are now like their own roles on teams, where before you would just have your social media manager that would be creating all the content. But now that video and TikTok and Reels are so important, now teams, if you have the budget, will have their own content creator in-house that will then create videos, search for trending audios. How can we make videos around this? Like their whole job is literally filming, editing, posting, and just creating the content. And so it's cool to see that becoming its own position in itself. So if you love creating content, that's a great role for you to go into in social media to actually get to like put your face on screen and be the face of the brand. Influencer managers, if you don't know what an influencer is, which everyone does nowadays, but it's the people who have a big following, who are promoting products that they like or that they're getting paid for, whatever that might be. So the influencer manager is the person that manages those relationships, finds influencers, make sure that they're controlling budgets, usage, and just managing that external partnership for content creation. And then a community manager, this might have a different title at different places, but this is the person that's talking to the customers directly. So social media is a form of customer service nowadays, because, if you are having issues at the airport, you might tweet at the airline and ask them questions. And this is the person that works almost like a customer service rep for social media. So really important role of making sure that customers are being heard. And then again, one of my favorites is content and creative. I also, this is my world over here, kind of flex between those. Content sometimes can be its own team, but a lot of the times now it's kind of mixed with a creative team. So usually at the head of that, you have your content, your creative director, who, like I said, the other ones is leading the strategy. They're really setting the vision, and they're kind of like what everything flows between to make sure that it's like the correct brand look and feel. It sounds like the brand. I'm really like safeguarding the brand as a whole. And then some of the roles that you might have under that with digital marketing is an art director who is working directly under the creative director to actually bring the creative to life. So they're, managing a graphic designer, a photographer, leading photo shoots. They're really in the weeds helping create the content. And then graphic designers kind of flex between that and like a UX UI designer. You might hear both. Graphic designers are the ones who are actually creating the graphics and the creative for like digital banners or even social media. They might be designing websites, but UX UI designers, which is user experience and user interface, they're the ones that are actually creating. All of these fall under digital marketing. There's so many realms. Basically, if you're thinking of that funnel, it's every single person that touches a piece of creative inside of that digital funnel. So anytime you're getting a piece of content from a brand on any digital screen, space, anything like that, somebody in one of these categories has actually touched that, created that, put it out there, put money behind it. So all of these categories fall under digital marketing. Super exciting. Lots of opportunities there. But UX, UI designers are the ones that are creating websites with that developer. They're more on the design side, but making sure that websites are super functional. So what color are call to action buttons? So like a shop now button, making sure that it's like very intuitive to a customer experience, saying like, oh, like it's annoying if you're shopping on a website and you're like, how do I close out of this pop out up? And you're so annoyed and you're so frustrated by that. So a UX designer thinks with the customer journey in mind of like, oh, this might be frustrating for somebody coming to our website. So I'm going to make sure to make the X really big or to put it over here. So they really understand customer interactions with the brand. Then some other roles that fall under this as well are video editors, like I said, with content creators and video being really big. A team might, if they're lucky, have a video editor or a photographer in-house. These might be people that like are freelancing that you might as a company hire them to work with you, but they could also be in-house editing videos, editing ads, making paid media for you to put out into the world. So really cool to have those. And then a copywriter is the person who is writing all the copy for your website, writing copy for your blog. So they really are working cross-functionally with all the different teams to make sure that the copy is working really hard. And then we'll just quickly go through getting a job in digital marketing. I think we have about like 12 more minutes. So make sure you're dropping any comments or questions you have in the chat. You're doing a great job of that. But if I'm going and you have a question, make sure to drop them in there. But getting a job in digital marketing can be very confusing. You don't know where to start. So I'm going to quickly walk through what I did. And this is by no means something that you have to do, but I just kind of want to like set the tone to show you how I got to the job I'm at now. And then we'll talk about some other practical ways of things that you can do to actually break into digital marketing. So I went to college, we were just talking about this earlier, for public relations, which is pretty open and vague, but it was a great like marketing, advertising major to have, and I learned a lot there. So I actually did an internship with a politician when I was in college and was on the communications team. So I would write speeches and I had some writing experience there. And then I was in clubs. I was in a public relations club for public relations. I was the public relations person for the public relations club. So I got to run our social media there and do our communications there. So that gave me some extra opportunities to learn there. And then my senior year of college, I got a job as a marketing associate for the Alumni Association. So I would do some website stuff. I ran all of our social media. I would write our blog posts. So just really dipping my toes into media in general. And then my first job, this is where I probably would recommend the most, is I didn't have the opportunity. A lot of people right after took unpaid internships, and that was something that I financially wasn't comfortable doing. I needed to get out there. I had to pay my rent, had to pay my bills. So I got a job at a mortgage company, which doesn't sound like a very cool, exciting job, But I was a marketing and communications associate there. And because it was so small, it was a team of 3 people. I truly got to take on so much responsibility, and I was the youngest person on the team. So I got to say, like, hey, I want to take photos. So I would go out and take photos, and I did our graphic design. So I really got really good hands-on experience. Where if I had gone to an agency, I might have been, like just a social media intern. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like I might have had a little bit more of a focus. So since I took a job, and something I wasn't really that excited about, I actually got a lot of hands-on experience. So I would highly recommend, if you're feeling like, oh, I have to look at these big agencies or I have to work for a big company. I would honestly highly recommend just working for like a mom and pop shop or a small company where you really get a lot of hands-on learning experience. Highly recommend. And then as I moved into my second job, I would freelance because I didn't have a lot of work that I was really excited to show off to get a new job, because it was a mortgage company. It wasn't like the sexiest work. So I would just freelance on the side. So I was really interested in design at the time. So I would make logos for companies. I would make social media assets for people so that I could build my portfolio to get into my next job. And then at my next job, I started at Pourri, where I'm at now. I started as a social media manager, took on some more responsibilities with writing, video, emails, and then I became the junior creative director, and then eventually came on as the creative director, where I manage designers, a video editor, and a few different people, a copywriter. So that's kind of how I built to that spot. And these are some of my tips for you practically to take on if you are interested in these things, some easy ways for you to learn more and some easy ways for you to jump into a job. Even while you're like either in high school, I don't know what phase of life you're in, but whether you're in high school or you're, just working a job, like here's some easy ways for you to just learn more and to jump into something if this is what you're interested in. So my number one tip would be to research marketing trends. So it's always helpful whenever you go into an interview, if you have a little bit of base knowledge. You don't have to know everything, but if you have a little bit of base knowledge of just, that's awesome. Have a clothing brand. So you're probably already doing digital marketing, promoting your products without even realizing that this is literally what you're doing already. That's awesome. So that'll come into my third point in a second. I'll get there. But researching trends, so understanding, if you want to go into social, understanding social trends, understanding what people are doing for paid media, like just in, getting yourself into that world of what people are talking about. You don't have to know everything, but at least kind of dipping your toes into it so that whenever you go into an interview, you've kind of already built up a little bit of knowledge there. So some resources that I would recommend there are some industry news, whether that be Ad Age, Ad Week, Digital Marketer. And then a really easy one that I actually really love is just using TikTok for learning about trends. You can go on there and just literally search anything you're interested in. So you could search SEO, and there's probably someone that's out there talking about that industry and talking about news there. So highly recommend TikTok. Super underrated for actually just like finding information on industry trends.
So not to interrupt, but are you saying that you get paid to watch TikToks?
I do get paid to watch TikToks. I was scrolling before this. Since I work in social, I have to do that research. I got to find those trending audios. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I get paid to do that too because it's part of learning. So, I'm not gonna say that's all I do, but it is a really fun part of the job to get to scroll.
Pretty cool, right there.
TikTok, exactly. It's pretty dope. So the next one kind of goes along with that, but be really open to learning. So like I said, I watch a lot of YouTube. So whenever I first started, and even today, I didn't really have a lot of like hard skills in social media or, design. Like I only took one design class before, and it was like with one program. Marketing is so fun. I'm like a nerd about it. But I would just watch YouTube tutorials on like if I wanted to learn Photoshop, I would just watch YouTube videos of how to do it. So anything you're interested in, highly recommend just being open to learning and just like have fun with it and play with whatever you're curious about. You're probably already doing it if you're curious in digital marketing. You're probably doing it without even realizing it. And then Skillshare is another great opportunity for, it's pretty affordable. I think I haven't priced it out in a while, but I think I used to get it for like 99 cents a month. But you can take a lot of classes on there and learn pretty much any topic you're curious about, whether it's illustration or marketing or, SEO or copywriting. Lots of great classes on there for pretty cheap. creating your own brand, which is something you're already doing, which is so awesome. So I would recommend, if there's anything you're curious or interested about, like these are a couple of people that I follow, like why not just post about it? If you already have social and you feel comfortable about it, you don't have to know necessarily anything to just talk about it. So creating your own brand, whether you're an illustrator or you sell clothing or whatever that might be, take whatever your work you're doing and just put it on your social media. The first girl that's on here, woman that's on here, I follow her. She is a UX designer, and we use similar platforms. We used Figma, which is a graphic design program. So I like to follow her because she'll post like questions to people. She'll show people what she's working on. So she's kind of built her own brand around her own work that she's already doing. She's just showing it to people. Same thing as the middle person. She works in email marketing and SMS, and I follow her. And sometimes she'll just ask questions of like, what do you guys think of this? And so you don't even have to necessarily be doing it to be talking and engaging with it as your own brand. And then the last girl, I follow her on TikTok, but this is her Instagram, where she's an illustrator, where she's creating digital art, and she is just posting her work. So she's already doing it. So she's just posting it out for people to see it. So you get to create your own brand just around the platforms you already have. And then build a portfolio. Same thing. Your social media kind of is your portfolio sometimes at the same time. But here's an example of like, it's pretty rough, but what my portfolio looks like right now. I need to update it. But like when you go to it, this is a great way to show a future employer what you're actually capable of doing. So, you know, if someone comes to my site, they could click on any of the pictures. It takes them to a page to tell them a little recap of what the project was, what my contributions to it were. So if I directed on the video or if I did the photography, I'm just making sure people know what I actually did and then showing visuals of the work that I did. And what I would highly recommend is if you don't have that user or that experience, like hands-on paid experience just yet, something that I would do back in the day and tell any student or young person that they could do, if you're wanting to break into this, but you don't have like a job doing it, is just do spec work, like just make up your own work. So for an example, if there is if you like Nike and you want to work in social media or you want to work in social design, go to Nike's Instagram page and just create graphics and kind of mock up what it could look like and show somebody like, this is just spec work, but like, here's what I would do if I was a social media person for Nike. Here's what my recommendations would be based on this industry news that I know. Like I know quote graphics work really well. So here's where I designed one and how I would translate that to the brand. It could be anybody that you do that for, but just show people what you can do. If you're interested in writing, an easy thing to do is to start a blog, just to start getting writing. Like even if you're not getting paid for it, it just, first of all, it's good to just like keep that skill going, but then to actually give it to people and show people that like, here's some of my writing samples that I've been working on. So great ways to just build your portfolio, even if you don't have the actual professional experience just yet, just make your work for you. Especially if you're excited about it. It's kind of fun to do it anyways and to challenge yourself. And then the last one is networking, which is, you know, in person is kind of like the old school way of doing it. Like it still exists, but now, you know, exactly what you're doing today, where it's online, like you can do so much online, networking with people, going to conferences, taking classes. I actually just interact with a lot of people on Twitter. So I actually follow a lot of marketing people on Twitter and will respond to their posts. Exactly. I will respond to their posts. I will just ask them questions. And that's how I've networked actually, is just through Twitter and through social media. Social media has made it really easy for us to network with people that we probably would never talk to outside of that, or not have the opportunity to meet them in person. So it's very awesome. And then here are some free resources for you to use. So for learning, like I mentioned, YouTube and TikTok are super awesome ways to just like search something that you're wanting to learn about, because someone's probably posted about it before. If you're curious about it, I guarantee someone's probably posted a tutorial or has asked the same question. With design, Canva is a great resource if you are just getting started. Canva is a free resource to an extent. I actually use Canva to make this, so I made this for free, so that's awesome. You can use that just to kind of like dip your toes into it. I know a lot of social media managers use that. Figma, which is what that F logo is. I love Figma. I actually make all of our social designs in there now, but Figma is like almost like it's not Photoshop because you're not necessarily doing photos, but it's like a design Adobe program type program that you can go into and design in. So we do like web design, social design, emails, everything in there. Writing, if you want to start a blog, you could use Wix, you could use WordPress. These are also great for your portfolios as well, if you have an understanding of how to work the websites. And then for portfolios, for free resources, you could use Google Slides are really great for making presentations, just to put your work there. And you just have to have a Gmail account, I believe, to do it. You might not even have to, but it's on Google. And then your social media, like I mentioned, if you're posting your work, you could also use, if you're using your social media as a portfolio, you can also share that with employers to show them your work that you've done. So I think we only have a couple more minutes, but thank you for dropping all that stuff in there. Marketing is so fun. If you guys have any other questions before we have to hop off, I nerd out about this stuff, so I love talking about it, but digital marketing is so much fun because like everybody has access to it. It's so much fun. Is the marketing process frustrating? That's a great question. I wouldn't say it's frustrating. It really depends on what the project is that you're working on. It can be frustrating if you're putting out creative and it's not converting or no one's clicking on it. Or what's really frustrating from like a social perspective is like Instagram is always changing. Like they're telling you every single week that like sizes are changing, or now it's all videos. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's frustrating, but I would say it is really exciting, and just be open to changes and being flexible as marketing trends change. So great question. And I think that might be our time. We need to wrap up now? Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining in. I know there's just a few of us. This was really fun. Digital marketing is such a blast. Highly recommend. If you want to reach out and have any questions, you can definitely connect with me on LinkedIn or even Instagram. I think y'all might have my Instagram handle, or they're going to drop it in for you. But definitely reach out with any questions you might have. Always here to be a resource and to help. And I wish you luck, and I hope you go into digital marketing. It's a blast.